All right, mic check, I'm good. So I'm Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron, and this is the wrap-up interview of the podcast that has been Fabtech Chicago Week. What an amazing week. All the people, all my friends, industry contacts, suppliers, distributors, and professionals that have been out here. I stepped in on some sessions, some keynotes. It's been super fun and also exhausting.
Agreed.
And so I'm here today with Alex Jordan, who has been on the show before and has done a great job. And I met you at Fabtech, I believe, 2 years ago here in Chicago.
Yep.
So now this is the follow up. Now, how is it going, Alex?
Good. There's things have changed, but it's been going good. It's been cool to just kind of get immersed in this, I don't know what you say, group of people and learn lots of new things.
So what did you learn? What are the new things you think you learned this year?
This year, there's just a lot of cool processes we've seen.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things I've seen this year was OTC came out with a brand new welding process, and it's, don't quote me on this, it's called like
Is that the plasma welding one?
The plasma arc one. Did you try that out?
I didn't get to try it out, but I did see it and I looked at it.
So cool.
Yeah, because plasma welding's been around for a long time, but it hasn't really caught on. And now the way they're doing it now might be the ticket.
I was highly impressed. Like the only downside currently is it's 3-phase only. So you might be able to run a phase converter, but I don't know if the amp draw would hold up to it or not. But just the process of it, like I was playing around on some 3/16 thick aluminum on the AC side, and you could run an 1/8 inch wide bead on 3/16 aluminum at like 150 amps.
Wow. I heard it's pretty loud.
No,
not too bad.
No, it's a little unsettling at first because the high velocity argon on the inner nozzle sounds like an air hose, and like immediately when you hear an air hose around your TIG welding, you're like, stop. Somebody's gonna blow my shielding gas away. So that's a little unsettling to get over at first, but it's not.
Nice stable arc, little umbrella, looks good. Yeah.
Well, it's not an umbrella. That's the thing about it. It looks like a plasma arc.
Oh, okay. Just like straight on. Yeah.
It's kind of more straight on. It's kind of got like a little like
wibble wobble to it.
Exactly. But it's very pinpointed, and it just directs that heat right into the joint. And the other cool thing about that is because it's so pinpointed, it doesn't saturate the entire part. Like you're getting less.
So the heat input's less. Yeah.
Well, at least throughout the ambient part of
like
the whole.
The heat affected zone is less.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. You're putting more heat where it matters.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. You're not like, we're taking a coupon, you could grab the top of it with your glove on still, and it wouldn't like burn your glove out.
That's wild.
And the other cool thing we were messing with was they had some, on the DC side of it, they had some dirty stainless there with just like a heavy scale on it. And then when you run a pass on the backside, you're going to get all those chromiums are burnt out. And you get that
the
sugared and stuff like that. Run a bead right over the backside while it's still hot even.
It didn't push through?
No pushing through, no undercut, just a beautiful rainbow bead.
I've seen a lot of
mind-blowing
stainless plates out there that people were playing with, different processes, different booths. And you see a lot of pretty welds on top. You flip it over and you got a bunch of sugar in the back, and that won't fly.
Nope.
No, that's not allowed.
No, but I mean, most of these booths don't have purge setups.
Yeah.
They don't have a purge fixture set up for the demo.
Yeah, and if you don't got purge, you got to go quick.
Argon's expensive.
Yeah. So in the last 2 years, when I interviewed you, we did it virtually. You got your shop at home, you're working away. You're also really investing into the social media and the videos and stuff like that. Are you still doing that? Are you still like the same level of importance? I feel like your shop's gotten bigger. You've bought new tools. I see like you got a mill and you got some stuff. And do you still have the same time to do the social media and the YouTube stuff at the same pace?
Not at the same pace. I've been trying with that. The shop hasn't gotten any bigger. There's just got more in it now. Like I'm still in my single garage. It's a 280 square feet, and I pack a lot of tools in there, and I'm running out of room to work. I had another building that I was able to get access to and am kind of renting. It's a 1,200 square foot building, and I was going to move everything over there, but because I still have kids and stuff like that, it's
Still.
Yeah. Well,
God,
okay.
jeez.
Yeah. Right.
Keep sticking around.
I love them, but that it makes it hard to just like run out for half an hour, work on something while they're taking a nap.
Right.
And so that ended up not working as well as I was hoping. I still have the space that I just kind of use as staging. So if a larger project, I like bring it over and then bring stuff over.
Keep materials out of the exterior.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's more of a staging area now because it's affordable. So it's worth hanging on to.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with a staging area for organization because space is a premium no matter how you work it. Like
covered space, especially in Oregon, it's so wet and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's very semi-temperature controlled too, so it's got
not frozen at least.
Yeah, exactly, you know? It's got a fireplace in it. I can
warm it up.
Warm it up, exactly.
Yeah. Now, there's two pieces of that conversation. How's the business doing? So, how's AM Customs doing?
Good. Like, it's starting to grow. Like, it's not. I don't know. I'm not trying to
explode.
Yeah,
you know?
And I haven't been able to put as much time as I'd like to. And obviously, I just had my third kiddo about 6-7 months ago.
Third. So now, is that it now?
Yeah, I had to take care of. So.
Yeah, no more wife? No, just kidding.
No, I couldn't do it without her.
Yeah, no. The third kiddo. What name? Boy, girl? What's?
Little girl, Emma.
Emma, nice. So you got a third kid and a baby, of course, and the other ones aren't that old. So.
No, I got a 4, 2, and 7 months old.
So when do you work?
Whenever I can. So, I'm busy at the day job. I usually work 9 to 10 hours a day at the day job, come home and eat dinner with them and spend about 3 hours, 4 hours with them, play with them and stuff. And thankfully at this point in their life, they go to bed fairly early.
Yeah, like 8 o'clock-ish.
7. Because they are up no matter what time we put them to bed at 5 a.m. So we put them to bed early because they get up early. So and then about 8 o'clock, I go out and work in the shop for another 2 or 3 hours each night.
And the day job is still the same day job you had 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that company was building...
We build large-scale stage sets and puppets for the entertainment industry. Yeah. So we do stuff for Disney, Universal Studios, Cirque du Soleil, Blue Man Group. We've done stuff for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. We just finished building a brand new show for the Wynn Casino in Vegas.
Cool.
La Rev was the current show that used to be in there, and they tore all that out, and we built a lot of the new components for the new show, which is called Awakening.
Oh, cool. And how's that gig been? You still happy there? You know, been busy?
Yeah, it's especially this time of year, because it's an entertainment industry, a lot of companies have a fiscal budget. And so around this time of year, they're like, oh, we got money left. And so
let's blow it.
We get all these last minute orders in that they don't necessarily have to get done by the end of the year, but they have to be started by the end of the year to be able to get their deposits in.
Get the POs in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So from like now till February is always our busy season. And
right when Fabtech is, of course.
Exactly. So,
hey, boss, it's really busy. I got to go again.
Yeah, they weren't super impressed that I left this week, but
you've been here. Like you were Atlanta last year. Like you don't miss them now. You don't miss them.
It'll be hard for me to miss one if I do. Like I'm hooked.
Yeah.
Just the connections you make and like the people you meet, like yourself included. Like just having the resources at your fingertips of just experience, like.
Yeah.
And it's not even the trade show. For me, it's a lot of like just the after parties and stuff, being able to sit down with people and learn what they're doing and how they do stuff. Like it was cool. Not last night, night before, got to sit down went out to dinner with, who was it? With Mike from GarageBound and A Dueling and Lucky Chucky and, Ian Johnson.
Right.
And we went all the 5 of us went out to eat and they all just sat and talk business and experience all night, and I was taking notes the whole time.
like actually on a piece of paper?
On my phone. I was literally like, I had my notepad open on my phone. I'm like under the table taking notes.
No, that's a wealth of experience. Like Chuck is amazing with his broken arm this year. What a guy. Chucky. Be careful. Come on. We went out for supper. Ian was with us last night. He's a Canadian, right? Yeah. So we always try to spend some time together. And
he's a great guy.
Yeah, and then we try to band up because when there's a couple Canadians together in the U.S., we're like, hey, there's more than one of us now. We can talk smack now.
That's funny.
And Adam, we have not been able to get him on the show yet. we keep talking to him and he's like, yeah. But he's moving at 100 miles an hour himself. So
he is, but he's just a wealth of knowledge also. Like,
yeah.
And
he does stuff that like not too many people do, like that bead rolling.
Mm-hmm.
He does that so well. I kind of don't even know how that works.
Yeah, I haven't personally messed with a bead roller yet.
Yeah,
it's something
me
that's
neither.
on
So
the
it's
list
like,
that I really want to do. But
I was heavy industry. Like you don't touch that stuff in heavy industry. It's like for sheet metal and light gauge. So when I see that happening, like I can see it in products in the world and been like, how do they do that? And then I go to his Instagram and he's like, look at this. And it's like, what? Like how?
For sure. Like I was kind of jealous of that class that Ray and Mike from GarageBound there took last week. Like that looked like a fun class. They're working the English wheels and doing all that sheet metal work. And that's something that's definitely on the bucket list to dip my toes in.
Where do you even find that equipment anymore? Like you got to hit up auctions. Like I know they make new English wheels, but like
you can make the stuff too. Well, not necessarily the dies, but
the main structures.
Stuff, yeah. But yeah, for me, it's not necessarily like I just haven't got it because I don't have the space. Yeah. I can't justify the space for it. And especially like when you're doing sheet metal, I mean, sheet metal is sheet metal. So it's
big. You need a lot of radius.
You gotta have room to work it too. So
now you brought up like the people, the and it's come up in a few of the podcasts we've done this week. It's like, Fabtech, yes. Technology, products, distributors. It's like it's like there's a Walmart, a Superstore, a Safeway, all in one place, right? So like you get to like pick whatever you want. It's going to be here and various versions of it that you can take a look at. So if you're like even inkling at shopping, this is the place to do it, right? And that's awesome. Absolutely. I love it. I love seeing around. I didn't get around enough this week. After we pack up here, I told Daniela we're going to go for a walk. She's like, well, everyone's going to be wrapping up. I'm like, I don't care. I'll catch what I can before everyone leaves because I haven't had time. But on the other side of that, it's the relationships and the networking, which I find I put most of my focus on because human capital, like the people part of it,
100%.
It's not that easy to repeat or replace. Like, I mean, if I miss the ESAB booth, I can reach out to my ESAB guy and he can come over and explain it to me in Regina in Canada, right? But if I miss hanging out with Becker, I can't just have Becker come over whenever I want, right? Yeah. And there's things I can learn from him. And, so I want to have those conversations with the people I know here and meeting new people that, like you said, you're just sitting around and everyone's just talking about what they do. And everyone's got a different angle, a different viewpoint, a different level of experience or history. And it's all useful, right?
100%.
What's your favorite stuff that you like to learn when you hear? Like, do you like the technical stuff, like the metallurgy or the shop talk stuff, tool stuff, or like just business or...
The business stuff intrigues me just because I feel like that's going to be the next step for me in kind of stepping more out. 'Cause I mean, I technically have this business, but it's just more of a
paying hobby.
Yeah, it's a paying hobby right now. Yeah. So if I'm perfectly honest, but so that's interests me just because I know it's going to be kind of the next step. But I mean, I'm a tool junkie also, yes, but I also love those relationships. It's so nice to be able to be like, you run into something and this community is so great. You can send person a text and be like, hey, I ran into this, what would you do? And just to have that feedback or a different perspective in the moment and just have the accessibility to do that can save you so many times. Just like
and not have to make that mistake yourself.
Exactly.
And be like, oh man, I should have asked somebody about this.
Yeah. Or instead of having to pick from 100 options, have that person narrow it down to 4 for you and be like, try this one, or this one. Like,
yeah.
It just kind of expedites that learning process. And yeah.
So when did you get in?
With what?
No, like into Chicago.
Oh, I came in. Sorry. When did I come in? It's all been a blur.
Yeah, well, that's kind of where I'm going with this.
Sunday night.
So Sunday night.
Actually, I came in midday Sunday.
Okay, so you were at the Hard Rock. I saw you there at the Hard Rock. And when do you leave? Like tomorrow or
no?
Tonight?
I leave at 8 p.m. tonight.
Okay, so over the 4 days that you're here, how have you scheduled your days? Like, what you wake up and how do you plan the things you're going to do and what you're going to see and what you want, like, for an itinerary schedule? Because you don't have a booth.
Yeah.
You're not presenting. You're not speaking. So you kind of have the ability to create like your schedule for each day, which I'm very, very jealous of. Right? So like I would love to be able to do that. How do you do that? And like, how do you decide?
I didn't really have a schedule. I had a couple like goals I wanted to hit because I wanted to film a little bit for the channel. So if you don't know, check out AM Custom Fab on YouTube. But before that, I didn't want to just like walk around with the camera the first 2 days. So the first 2 days, I just kind of scope stuff out and just kind of tried to foster relationships and stuff like that. And then yesterday, I walked around with the camera and hit the people. And the other thing I found is just catches people off guard less if you just talk to them first. And so the first 2 days I go by and then talk to people about their stuff and stuff like that. And
hey, I'll come back.
Be like, hey, if I come back on Wednesday, do you care if you just give me a quick presentation, tell me about your product on camera? And then they'll be like, oh yeah, for sure. Kind of thing. So, and then it gives them time to prepare too. So they're not caught off guard and they can, because some people don't like being on the spot either.
Yeah, and that's so funny because that's the exact opposite of what I do.
Well, I don't always do that, but I found that
I love catching people off guard.
I was finding last year some people were like, "No, you can't film because we weren't prepared for this."
I guess, and not to sound like weird. That's 2 podcasts in a row I've said that now, but so maybe I just sound weird. So I'll just say
you are just
okay.
Weird,
so I'm just weird. Okay, but I love catching people off guard. But I also like, they'll be like, oh, he's from the CWB. I should probably take this, because like it'll be good exposure and blah, 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 blah. But I don't like when people prepare too much.
That's fair.
Because then it turns into like a really like purposeful product placement.
Salesy, that's true.
Right. And I'm trying to just get like more of the vibe. Like, how's the show? How are things get going? And if you give people too much, like, I mean, maybe a day's fine, but if you give people too much notice, then they'll really think about it and be like, well, today was great, but, the SR7245 has been fantastic.
That's true.
And you're like,
well, I don't give them a time that I'm coming back. I'm just like, sometime I'm going to drop in.
Wait for them to start eating a sandwich and be like, okay, now.
Well, and a couple times I've dropped in right when they were talking with another customer too. So you can kind of drop in and then they got like telling the customer about it. And
well, you're showing me your toy that you've been using to record with the little microphone things.
Yeah, I decided to bring the small camera this time.
Yeah, so you got a big one that goes with you for like yesterday or today, or do you do that one for everything?
I left the big camera at home.
Yeah,
so it's not a huge camera, but it's just a mirrorless.
Yeah, and then how like you got those little microphone things, little clippy microphones.
Yeah, I hope they work. Like
that's cool.
I'm excited to see what the quality of them are when I get back.
You need to tell me if they're good because that's pretty neat.
Yeah, I like the fact that they all just kind of like go into like a little AirPod case and they're super easy. They key right in. And the cool thing about that camera that I've liked is it actually shows you a mic input on it. So if the mic is feeding
you'll
properly,
see a level.
They've got a level that bounces as you're doing it and it turns red if it's too hot and stuff like that. So
nice.
That's pretty cool for a little action camera. You get that out of it.
So the business is doing all right. I saw you bought a mill. I was jealous. That's the one tool I don't have, like a milling machine at home, didn't you?
No, I haven't bought one. I've had a secondhand one for probably 6 or 7 years.
Okay, I just saw the picture of it, and I remember saying to you,
that was probably something I was actually. I don't remember which picture it was.
Yeah, because I sent you a message. I was like, "Oh man, I need one of those," and you're like, "Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it."
I don't remember what
like
that was.
6
I'm
months
sorry.
ago. Yeah. So, anyways,
it could have been at work too, because every once in a while, I can't post like the broad picture of what I do, but I can post things in the macro and just show the welds and stuff like that.
So like what I'm getting at is that you have these tools, you have your job, you have your work, but you still have YouTube.
Yeah.
So how's that going? How's that been? What have you been doing with your YouTube channel?
It's growing, and that's exciting to see it grow. Like I've just hit 23,000 subscribers, and it's starting to pay for itself now. Because as you know, this stuff is not cheap and takes time and stuff like that. And like I said, I'm not making money with it, but I would say that it's paying for my time now.
Yeah, it's on rotation now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's encouraging. And then I've been able to get on with several sponsors. Actually, I going to be negotiating, but I was able to hit up one of the abrasive companies that I wanted to work with this week. That was one of my goals.
That was also one of my goals this week, is to hook up with an abrasives company.
And so
we'll have to talk later. I wonder if it's the same one.
Yeah, they have a product that is for grinding aluminum, and it is the best aluminum grinding product that I have.
Is it the one that won't even go through the can? It'll like Okay, so I got a demo from a abrasives company, which will remain nameless for now. But they'll take a can of Coke, like an empty Coke can.
Okay.
They'll put this aluminum abrasive, so that's like, like what, I don't even know what gauge it is, like 30 gauge aluminum, something crazy thin, and they'll lean into it, and it'll peel the paint right off a Coke can without burning through.
Oh wow, no, this was.
And I was like,
"That's cool.
That's cool." Like, I mean, that is a very I don't even know the technology that went into that thing, but it can peel the red off Coke without wrecking the can. And I was like, that is crazy level of accuracy for a grinding disc.
Yeah.
Like an abrasive.
Huh. Yeah, I'm going to get with you about what that is too. No, this one is more of like the equivalent to like a 36 grit.
Oh, wow. So like it'll chew.
But it doesn't load up. Whereas like, when you have a flap disc, like you get into it and then it's trash.
Yeah.
Unless you're putting lubricant on it, which works, but then you're welding on it, then you got to get it off.
Yeah.
And so these things, it's weird because when you touch it, it feels like an orange peel. It's not even abrasive. But like these things last. I'm sure it's
like a little bumpy,
lightly bumpy, but it's not like gritty.
Yeah, but it'll bite in, like
But it'll bite in and take material away, and it lasts a long time.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think we have been talking to the same company.
I don't think so either.
So we may have to do a little like cross education thereafter. So, all right. So like the YouTube videos going. What are the projects that you've been doing on there? What sort of content have you been putting on?
I've been doing quite a bit of product reviews lately, which I kind of want to get a little more away from because they're salesy in the end, but
yeah.
I mean, some things I genuinely believe in. All the things that I show, I genuinely genuinely believe in. I don't show things that I feel are junk or whatever.
Yeah.
But I just want to get into more of the projects and
because you're not really a salesperson.
Yeah,
I'm
really not. So. I'm working on the jet boat. I don't know if you've seen that.
No, I didn't see that.
I have a micro aluminum jet boat. It's a 6-footer.
Oh man.
And so
be careful. Those things are dangerous.
I've got a 700cc 2-stroke engine to go in it. So it should make about 75 horsepower.
You'll just be skipping across the water.
So I'm super excited about that.
Forget turning, man. There's no turning involved.
Turn. So, I mean, it's a cool glorified jet ski, basically. All aluminum hull. Yeah. And so the kit was a 6-footer, but sitting in it, like my shins are in the dash. So
you're a big guy.
So I ended up stretching it 6 inches, and that allows me to get my knees under the dash, and I can almost flat foot it. So
okay, all right. And was this a kit or like
a kit,
or did you buy a blueprint and then cut it all out?
No, it was a kit up from Canada, actually.
Yeah.
So one of my sponsors provided it and wanted me to weld it up with their machine, and so it's been an ongoing project with that. So it's been fun.
How much welding is there on it? Like lots?
A bit. I mean,
like how many pieces is the hull in?
15 probably.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you gotta do full pen and then grind smooth from the outside?
The cool thing about it is like it kind of the way the kit lines up, you have basically like a fillet on the outside, and then most of them there's a fillet on the inside also. Okay. So basically, I've been doing the inside first, the outside first, because that's going to be ground off mostly anyways.
Yeah.
And then I'll burn the inside in after that. And
you're doing it all TIG?
Yeah, I'm taking it all. So it's slower, but
just go grab some big wire, just a spool gun, done.
Yeah.
Not as fun.
No. I want it to be kind of clean. So excited about that project. I have several other projects kind of in the
queue.
I have another project that's pertains to the jet boat, but I don't want to make it public yet. I'll tell you that afterwards.
Okay.
But I have an idea for it to build off of it and make some fun content with that. And then I also have just some curriculum that I've been writing over the last 2 years. I'm still been working on it. So I have intentions to just kind of make an online course.
You want to get into the educator space.
Yeah.
Right?
So, I mean, a lot of what I do on YouTube is kind of educational. Yeah. There's a lot of tutorials and how-tos. And the thing that I've been learning lately is where I am in the industry as far as level of experience and stuff like that. I mean, I've been at my work for 13 years now. Yeah. And if you count hours spent, probably closer to 20. Because those 16-hour days add up.
Yeah.
But I forget that the majority of people need to start Start somewhere. So like, it's a good reminder to me that I've been learning lately is just kind of like bring it back to basics. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. And just like be able to be relatable and from a lower level, because the majority is starting from that level. And so
I remember when I was first starting in writing curriculum, and I was talking to a couple other content builders, and they were like, well, I said something about like, well, maybe we should just do like a flat, like weld test plate. It's like, oh man, everyone does that. It's like, that's true.
Yeah.
Right. It's true. But I bet you and I do it differently. Like just right now, I bet just between you and me, I bet we have different settings. I bet we have little different tricks. And if someone is struggling, trying to do it these 10 ways, maybe the 11th is the trick, you know? So don't ever feel like, you know, that it's been done already and no one will care. Because maybe even just your voice, the way you talk or the way you present, it might be more attractive to somebody than the way someone else talks or presents.
100%.
Just personal preference, right? Like you don't know that, so you just get it out there, right?
For sure. Yeah. No, I have people that are like, oh, you already did that. I don't want to do that. I'm like, no, do it, because like I'm in the same boat. Like, I mean, you did that in high school. It's like I went through 2 different math classes before you found one that you understood.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so as you work on this content over the last 2 years since the last one, have you like updated the gear? Have you tried to like invest into the either editing or quality? Have things changed, or you kind of staying to like the formula?
I've definitely become more efficient at it, just learning how to be able to shoot and edit faster. I'm still not super great at it, but I don't think I've really upgraded any equipment. So there's, you know, except for that camera right there, about that last week. But
and what's next now? Like, so, you know, you're going to walk away from Fabtech, you know, tonight at, you said 8 p.m. or something like that. So you're leaving tonight. You know, what are you walking away with? What are you feeling like you gained, and what's like hoping in the next couple of months you're going to like implement out of this?
I mean, hopefully I can foster those relationships with these brands that I was able to connect with, and we can figure something out from there. And then also just, I don't know, like it's
like too much.
There's a lot. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'll definitely keep pecking away at the stuff that I kind of have a list of running videos that I'm going to be doing. So start pecking away at those.
How do you make that list? Like, how do you get the ideas of what you want to do?
Just things that I see and stuff, and I just write it down and then have an idea of.
Do you get requests? Do people send in something being like, "Hey, Alex, can you do a Jordan?" Or can you do it? Can you do a video?
I can do a Jordan.
Yeah. Can you do a video on this or whatever?
Absolutely, I do get those. A lot of it pertains to the company Welder that I work with primarily there. I get a lot of people ask me about specific functions.
Oh, right. So like
stuff
specific
like that.
settings.
Exactly. Yeah. So I get a lot of those requests, and most of those I'll just kind of answer in the private messaging and stuff like that. But every once in a while I do get a kind of, when I start getting a bunch of the same question, like the last video I just put out was 3 tips on how to upgrade this welder, because this company came out with a newer welder that's bigger and better. And everybody's like, well, I have this one. Should I upgrade? And it's more expensive and stuff like that. So I showed like ways that you could upgrade the existing model, things like replacing the earth clamp, like, cause a lot of these factory earth clamps are sheet metal clamps, and they don't have
the proper spring,
or they have galvanization between the connection, which that'll fry your board if eventually. And so, the video is just showing 3 different ways that you could start out upgrading those.
Yeah. Just by not having to dump a bunch of money.
Exactly. Like a new earth clamp is like $20. You can get a good quality brass earth clamp, and then maybe upgrading to a stubby kit, something that's going to be a little more ergonomical. You get a little better gas flow, and then maybe getting a water cooler for it.
Right.
So that you can have just longer duty cycle. And I don't know, personally, I feel like you almost get a smoother arc in some cases with a water cooler. I don't know if it just might be out in my head, but it probably is. But for some reason, I feel like, or maybe it's just because the torch isn't overheating, so it's conducting electricity better because it's not overheating.
Because they say you don't need water cooled till you're like at 300 amps or whatever.
Well, for how long though?
Yeah, exactly. How long are you gonna hold on to that? Yeah.
Is it 300 amps for 10 seconds or for an
10
hour?
minutes? Yeah,
exactly.
So like you get these videos out there. when you work with these suppliers that are, you got their product, and this is the questions that you're asking. Do they also send you a list of things being like, hey, can you make a video on this, or can you do something with this?
I have had ones request that or even try to like make it a thing, but I have not accepted any things that ties me down contractually like that. I feel like, because I've had these companies like, we want you to do this, we want you to say this, and we want to see the video before you post it. I'm like, well, then that's not a very unbiased.
That's not very organic.
Yeah, I'm like, so I've turned down anything like that. Like I had a large company approach me, and they're like, yeah, we want to sponsor you and stuff, but we want you to sign a contract that you can only use our stuff for the next 5 years. I was like, no.
Oh, 5 years? That's ballsy, man.
No.
Like, I don't
know. Yeah. I was like, no, thank you. And so that's one thing I've definitely tried to do is just like, I want to be genuine with it, and I don't want to have anything that is like, that you're
kind of shady.
Yeah, I feel like it's shady. Yeah. So
and your brand's not shady. Like, I mean, I think on our first interview, I was like, you got this wholesome vibe, right? Like,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, and you got like you're a dad, you love your kids, you work a job, and you got your shop, and you do YouTube to try to help people. It's like, man, and then I meet you in person, and you're, of course, really nice, and like you shake hands, and you like to talk, and it's like, okay, like, you also don't want to throw all that away because you just
for sure
want to make a quick buck with some company.
For sure,
right?
Well, it's crazy too. Like the algorithm is so weird. Like the videos that I've put time and money into that I thought were gonna pop off have like not. And then I have like little ones like the crane video. I don't know if you've seen that crane one I did a couple weeks ago. Like that was supposed to be an in-between thing. Like I was building the crane to do another video, and I was like, well, I should video this just because.
Whatever.
And that popped off and got 100,000 views in 2 weeks. And I was like, why? Like I was like literally like, this was like filler for the video and the video that I like spent the money and time on got like 1,000 views in the week. I was like, okay, whatever.
It's tough. It's tough to predict the social media and online interaction. It's tough. Like we spend a lot of time. Like I look at reports every month, being like all the different parts of the company. What are we doing? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like sometimes my personal like LinkedIn will have more interactions than like the company's LinkedIn.
Yeah,
and it's like, why? How did that happen? Like,
yeah, maybe it's
if you got the magic, let me know.
I don't. I'm still trying to figure that out. But another thing that's been cool that I've been able to partake in lately is, Justin from the Fabrication series.
Yeah.
So he just launched another company called Weld Coach.
Yeah.
And
I was sad to not see him here this week. I thought for sure.
Sad. Yeah.
I thought for sure he was going to be here this week.
No, and I was talking with him. Unfortunately, he didn't have enough staff to staff his company while he was gone.
Real busy.
Yeah, he is. But he invited me to be a coach on his new platform. And so I've been coaching on Weld Coach, and that's been really
just
cool.
add that to the list, eh?
Yeah, so yep. So he's kind of a little bummed because I have so little time. I only have like Tuesday nights open for my classes.
That's the window.
I have like 6 p.m. to midnight is my opening for teaching Weld Coach classes. And so he's like, well, you put more availability, you get more classes. And I was like, yeah, but I don't have more availability right now. So.
Now, what's that like? What do you do? How do you walk through that? What's that whole process like? Like I was, that's the first thing I was like, Justin, I'm going to be at Fabtech. We can talk about your new thing. Like, so like you're that person now.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like,
I hate to steal his glory on this though, but it's a really cool platform he's developed. He's done a great job on it. He's been developing it for quite a while, but it's a one-on-one experience. I mean, it's virtual, but it's a one-on-one experience with the student. And so they set up their camera to show their stuff, and it definitely makes you think
just
about
over phones
over the phone. So he's got his own servers and everything, so you don't have to download anything.
Yeah.
And part of the class is when you go on, he also ships all the metal to you. So you sign up for the class.
The kit shows up.
And the kit shows up. So you can only book a class like 2 weeks out or further because it's got to have time for the kit to get there.
Yeah.
But then
and kit means steel, tungsten, filler, everything?
Everything. So coupons, tungsten, filler.
Is it TIG only classes, or can you take MIG and stick?
He has MIG and stick also.
Okay, wow.
So, and there's multiple other coaches on there as well. I think there's 6 or 7. now. And so if you go on to each of our individual profiles, we have our own classes that we teach. So like I only have TIG classes on there currently, but there's another guy that only has stick welding classes on there and vice versa. Or some people have both.
So as an end user, you know, like I just go to the website and I'm like, okay, I got Tuesday nights. Do you get like an email in advance being like, this is the type of machine they have, you know, just so you can be like, kind of wrap your head around what you can teach them? Because you can't be like, oh yeah, set your frequency to, 120, and they don't have a machine that you can adjust frequency, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So that I don't personally get that information right off the bat. I get a name, but as soon as they purchase the course, they get sent to a quick little video series that says you need a machine that does this. You need to have your gloves ready, a pair of pliers for picking up the metal and showing it to the camera. PPE, helmet, gloves, respirator, whatever. And then, so I honestly haven't even seen that video, but Justin's got a video that
it's probably awesome.
It sends them to it right after, just get them all lined up. And then I just have a running tally. As soon as they go on, that first 5 minutes is
who are you? What's going on?
Exactly.
What's your setup?
Exactly. So it's what's your machine? What do you got your balance set at? What do you got your frequency set at? And just a quick little, like, just to maximize their time. So we get everything set up right from the beginning. Where's your ground at? Is it on the table? Is it close?
Is it on the piece?
Yeah, exactly. So make sure we try to minimize those things that could be a problem right off the bat.
And then how many classes do you do with each student, or do they just book one class at a time?
Just one at a time, and they can book either a 1 or a 2 hour session, or you can book. I don't think the consultation has to be in advance. It could be just whenever. You can book a half-hour consultation, and that's not a welding class. But if somebody wants to just jump on with you and say, "Hey, I'm having this problem. What should I do?
What's your ideas?"
Exactly, and that could be anything. That could be welding. That could be if they're building something, they just want your advice. So he's give that opportunity, which is cool too. The other cool part about it is he's got an entire arc shot library in the class. And so since you can't be face to face, like seeing it, if you see him do something that's not correct,
you can pull a video and be like,
pull the video and be like, what you did there, you were long arcing it there. So show him the video of that. And it's like, see, it was doing this. And then you're like, you want it to look like this. And he's got nice crisp arc shots to show them in person, since you can't like physically show them. So
are you seeing them weld like the actual arc? Like you get them to put their phone on a stand and follow along?
It depends on the phone.
Yeah.
Some of them you're just getting like the glare, but it's amazing when you actually sit back. You can tell a lot from what a person's doing.
Stance, move, hand placement.
Torch height, torch angle. Yeah. If they're like popping their torch or like, it was surprising to me how much you can tell without actually seeing the arc. Yeah. If they're getting little like splatters coming off of there, and then get that dirty tungsten, or they're running it too deep in the puddle and stuff like that. But it also pushed me to just step back and see what I actually do. Cause you get in the roll of things and you're like, oh, do it like this, but you don't actually like break it down and be like,
think about the exact movements that you're doing
and be able to articulate that clearly. Yeah. So
like that, now your Tuesdays are booked. Or has it been like busy with it?
Not super. I've only done a couple classes so far, but actually haven't really promoted it either because I've been so busy.
Yeah, and I don't think he's had a full launch yet, is he? Like, I
believe it's launched, but he hasn't promoted it that much.
Okay, yeah, because I saw the testing. I saw the testing going through, and we're reaching out to him, and he's doing CWB test plates now through his kits.
Oh, yeah,
which is cool. So helped him with that, and CWS in Canada is selling CWB test plates through Weld Metals online. Nice. So like it's everything kind of comes together, full circle with relationships. How did you end up, or why did you ask him like why you? Like why'd you reach out to me, or how'd you get on the list for Weld Coach?
I don't know. He literally called me at like 11 o'clock one night and he's like, "Are you awake?" He's like, I want to talk to you about something, but you can't tell anybody. I was like, okay.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So that was like a year and a half ago. But we're just getting to the launch point. I say we haven't done anything, but he's just getting to the launch point. He's the one that put all the work in. But no, it's to my knowledge, it's fully functioning and launched. He just hasn't promoted it yet because there's still some backdoor things that they're working on. So
yeah, and there's going to be, it's a new product.
Exactly. So anybody can go right now and book a class, and
maybe I should book one.
you could
just to see what it's like.
Use AMCF10 and you'll get 10% off.
AMCF10.
Yeah.
You hear that, world? AMC. Oh, that was a nice, slick little plug you got in there. You're happy with yourself right now. You're like, that worked out perfectly.
Got him to write it down.
Yeah, good. Now, with this, do you get to pick what you teach? Are you the TIG teacher or the aluminum teacher, or what's your speciality on there?
I only have TIG classes right now, but yeah, I get to write the class that I'm doing. So right now I have like a 1 hour aluminum, a 1 hour or 2 hour aluminum, vice versa for steel, for stainless. And then there's a shapes class and so you can get the shapes kit and go over out of position stuff. I have a tube class, so chromoly tube and stuff like that. And then I have one that is a bimetal. It's aluminum and steel, but like the shapes and the bimetal ones, you can't just book 1 hour because you're not going to be two. They have to be 2 hour classes because you're not going to be able to go over all that stuff in 1 hour. So there are some parameters there, but.
All right. Well, as we start working towards next year, we're looking at Fabtech next year already in Orlando. It's going to be a different venue, which I'm excited to go see new industry, hopefully some new players in the hall and stuff like that, right? Because this is one of the things that I'm looking at in Canada with our conferences is like, how do we diversify the people going, not just the ideas, but like if you're in the same cities, and don't get me wrong, I love Chicago. I love this town. But every time Fabtech's here, you know what you're getting, right? You know what you're getting. So what if, you move it around a bit and now it's going to be in Orlando. So it's going to be, I hope, different suppliers. I hope it's going to be different industries represented and different, whole different types of people I'm going to run into, right? I'm pumped. Are you?
Yeah, no, I'm excited for something different for sure.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about coming up to Canada to one of our conferences?
I've considered it, but right now it's like with the day job, I only have so much vacation time
and the other baby. So 3 is a totally different ballgame. I have 2 hands, and so the third one you got to balance on the foot. Yeah, but he's like 4, right? Yeah, so
the oldest is becoming more independent now, but
4 years old, you can get a job, right? Like just get out there.
I had her out running. I just got a 55-watt CO2 laser, and it's got a really simple software, and she was out there helping me run it.
Aww.
It was a blast.
Did you get any vids of it?
I have some photos. I can send you some photos.
You should put those on your website, being like, with over 4 years experience.
I'm not huge on putting my kids on my social media.
Yeah, I get that.
I'll let them decide if they want to do that. But
I was lucky. I missed that boat by the time my kids were... Like Facebook was just coming out when they were in their teenage years. So yeah. So it was like whatever for them anyways.
Yeah. I just figured I'd let them decide.
What's your wife think about all this crazy things you're doing?
She's the most supportive. I don't know how she puts up with me.
Because you got so many irons in the fire.
Yeah.
Like, you just told us a whole thing about a new one, right?
Yeah.
So
no, she puts up with me so well. Like couldn't do it without her.
So are you gonna try to do anything new in this next year? Like, you got the Weld Coach, you got AM Custom, you got your job, you got another baby, you got the YouTube. Are you looking to add more, or are you just trying to like sustain?
I don't know. In a perfect world, I don't think I ever want to quit my job. I love my job. I've been there for 13 years, and something I learned during the big C there. COVID was because I got laid off for about 4 months, and I just worked by myself on my garage, and like I don't have to talk to people, but I need to be around people somewhat socially and stuff like that. Like I'm not like a big open, like I don't know, extrovert, but like I just like being around people. Yeah. And so like I kind of got depressed a little bit just working by myself in my little garage with no windows. That could have been part of it too. No windows,
sunshine.
No sun. There's like 1 2x2 foot window in the whole building.
My garage literally has 1 2x2 foot window, and I got stuff on the window so half blocking it.
And that probably contributed to it. So, and I'm like right on the street, so I couldn't like open the doors and stuff. But from what I learned from that is, in my ideal world, I'd love to work for my company that I currently work for like 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah,
and then have time the rest of it. So I don't know. We'll see.
Is that doable? Would your boss ever go for that?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure.
Is he going to listen to this episode?
I doubt it.
You're not going to tell him to?
You think I'm a workaholic? He's a workaholic. Like
Really?
that guy he's in his mid 60s and he's the hardest working guy I know. Like we were in Vegas working a job and like we worked a 16-hour day. He was right there by my side. We went out to dinner and then he went and jumped on a call to like Germany or something like that. Cause he doesn't just build stuff here. He has another business just consulting.
And with international time zones, will kill you.
Exactly. And so it was their morning because it was like 1 a.m. And every once in a while you just like gotta tap him on the shoulder and be like, dude, go get some food.
Have
like,
a nap. Go have a nap, buddy. Have some sandwiches and have a nap.
He's the heart next to my grandpa. He was the hardest working person I know. Like
awesome. All right, well, let's wrap up this interview. A couple more questions. Going into the future state. You said you ideally maybe a little less of the 9 to 5, a little bit more focus on your work. Where would you want to put more of your focus towards the AM Customs or towards the YouTube world?
I think it'd be a collaboration of both. I think in an ideal world, it would be making the content for the YouTube world, but also using some of the job shop to make that content as well. Because that's part of what makes good content, in my opinion, is just the unpredictability of what's going to come in the door, and just like it's solving a new problem all the time. And I love solving problems.
Yeah,
so
that's good. And for the last question, as you develop these relationships, you come to Fabtech and stuff like that. What's on the wish list for perhaps like a tool you want to buy or skills that you would like to get better at yourself?
I really want to take some more 3D modeling classes. Like I have my plasma cam at home or plasma cutter or CNC plasma cutter, and I draw a lot of things just 2D, but I'd really like to learn modeling more. So,
which is a software that you use?
Right now I use Fusion 360.
Yeah. So you should do Inventor then. It's made by Fusion, right? And it's fantastic.
Well, you can model with 360 too. But
it's not fab drawing level, right? So with Inventor, it'll actually do like material takeoffs. You can actually pick different materials so the stretch outs are accurate. So like if you pick the material to be brass and then you build the 3D model out of like brass, when you do the stretch outs, it actually calculates it for you and stuff
for like that. Bending things.
Yeah, and cuts and stuff like that, and it'll leave, and then from there throw it into Fusion to make the tool paths. So
that'd be cool.
That's what I did. Everyone's got their favorites. There's SolidWorks. There's a billion, but I went into Autodesk. I used to do SolidWorks. I switched over to. I hated AutoCAD. I didn't like AutoCAD. It was too hard. It was like too engineering focused. I'm not an engineer. I needed something like as a welder and fabricator that made sense to me.
Yeah.
And then I finally got a taste of Inventor, and I was like, yeah, I think this is. This is where I like it. And so I just got literally last month the newest Inventor 2024. It's pretty insane. If you're going to go that way, buy a good computer. They're like these programs, doesn't matter which brand, they're heavy on the resources. I just tried modeling out. Somebody asked me for a custom made expanded metal out of 10 gauge stainless, right? They're like, I want a expanded metal casing for like exhaust system, perforated.
Yeah.
And I need it to be 10 gauge stainless, but I wanted to have like a specific design of the expanded metals, like a diamond shape with an elongated bottom.
So you have it like laser cut or something?
Yeah. So then you get like the 10 gauge sheet, laser cut it all in, and then form it, right? To make a really slick expanded metal cover that's in their like company branding. And I was like, yeah, I can do that for you. Inventor did not like me putting 600 profiles on one sheet and then rolling it. It was like, and I got like 32 gigs of RAM in my computer. And I was like, oh man, it took like 15. I had to like go have a coffee, come back. I'm like, are you done thinking yet? It was heavy on the resources. But again, that's a pretty extreme example.
Yeah, no, I've some of that with editing too. Like when you put all the video in there.
It's got to think for a bit.
Got to think for a bit.
All right, man. Well, any shout outs? Let people know about your website, your YouTube, your Weld Coach. How do people get a hold of you? What's going on?
I don't have a website. I do need to do that.
Okay.
But you can find me on Instagram at AM Custom Fab, YouTube at AM Custom Fab, Weld Coach. Look for Alex Jordan on Weld Coach and use AMCF10 for 10% off that. But yeah, that's where I'm at.
All right, good. And for the people that have been following, Alex is a fantastic person. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He looks young. But he's actually not that young. Like you would be like what, 36 now?
I'm 31.
Okay, 31.
Yeah.
Okay, I was way off. So 31, but still, you look like you're 19 for crying out loud. So like, he's fantastic welder. He does great stuff. Check out his channel. And I love running into you every year, man. All right. Well, everyone, this wraps up our week here at Fabtech. This is the last podcast that we're doing. So I have to thank Daniela for being here all week and working so hard with us. And she puts up with me. And for the people that know me well, that's no easy task. All right. So it's good. And we had real fun putting all these podcasts together and the meetings and the presentations. And it was really great. Also, thank you to the SME, Fabtech, FMA, AWS groups. We all work together to get these shows up and running. Fabtech USA, Fabtech Canada. These are parts that at the high level, we have so many great supporters and people that make these things possible. It takes hundreds and hundreds of people just to organize the event, let alone the distributors and the sponsors. So that's how I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everyone. Hopefully we see you at Fabtech Canada. That'll be June, I believe. It's the third week of June, 2024 in Toronto. I think it's 27, 28, but don't quote me on that. But it'll be around then. We'll post it up. And then we got CanWeld in October 18th and 19th in Moncton, New Brunswick this year. So that's coming up in a month from when I'm recording this right now. So you'll probably hear that later. But make sure you get out there. And keep downloading and sharing. It's been a great time. And stay tuned for the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed the show.